Shaf, how you doing? You all right?
Yeah, good, thank you. You?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, welcome to the Raw Ambition.
Thank you for having me.
Why don't you, I mean, I know you. I know your business and I know what you've been getting up to.
Yeah.
Not giving no spoilers. But why don't you take this opportunity to introduce yourself and then tell us a little bit about you and your business?
All right, so I'm Shaf here and I run a telemarketing company and we offer telemarketing, bit of VA services and telemarketing training as well. So cold call training.
I'm going straight in here.
Okay.
Why did you pick telemarketing?
So I've always worked in a call centre. So I've come out of school and I think I come from Donny, so you get a job in a call centre, don't you? That's what you do.
That was actually a big thing. Yeah. It's like the miners, wasn't it, way back when? Now,
That's
the
it.
modern version is we've got your call centre.
Good at call centre. So I've done door-to-door sales, everything, selling charities on door, signing up, the ones that stop you in French Gate.
Oh, you do that as well?
Yeah, I've done everything like that. So just always worked in a call centre. And then I had my kids. And then every time, I always wanted a career, but every time I went into a career, it's like you had to start again because I had my kids, so I had time off.
Yeah.
So I took a few years off of each just to be with them. Because by the time you've taken your wage and then paid the childcare, you're paying someone else to look after your kids. So.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. And then you got to start from the bottom of your career again. So that's what I did. And then eventually, after my second, I applied for a job. So we relocated. And then I applied for a job and it was remote and it said flexi hours, work round school. So we just thought, have it, jackpot. That were it. So I was a freelance telemarketer for a while. And coincidentally, that person was an action coach. So a couple of months in, he were obviously giving me a spiel,
Yeah.
What you doing? What's your ambition? What's your goals? And I was just like, have it, jackpot here. I've got a telemarketing company. I think I were on 15 quid an hour. I've never been on that sort of national minimum wage. We're paying 15 quid an hour. Like, I'm minted. Round school hours are absolutely buzzing. And then he took me to a conference once and he kept saying, like, you've got a business in this. There's a gap in market. People don't like telemarketing. You're good at it. If you train people to do it well. So I didn't really know I had a skill set. I just thought it's a job you get when you're unqualified. I didn't go to college. So he took me to a conference and at the end of it, he'd done his presentation and he sort of says, so he got me on stage and he's like, introduced me and everything. And he said, if anybody needs telemarketing, she's opened a business. She owns a call centre. That's what he did. So he just left me in lurch like that. So afterwards I was like, what are you doing? And I was like, trust me, we can make this work. So, I'm fortunate. I just sort of fell into it. It was never a plan. I always wanted to do something, but just, it sort of fell in my lap, really. And
Do you know what's mind-blowing? How humble, obviously, you've been with this. Literally straight from school into, like you say, it's telemarketing, right? I'm guessing was it BT?
So I've done BT, obviously, Vodafone, O2, the
So
lot.
you have literally done what, a large of the population will do in Doncaster. It's a great job. It's good security, especially living from school straight away. Bosh, you're quite in.
And if you're good at it, look, you can, you
earn a lot of money?
You can earn a decent whack. I mean, commission-wise, but...
Is it high turnover of staff in those kind of places?
Yes, yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, there's you're going to get turnover of staff in every company, but this, I think it just takes its toll. If you've got more of a role, like more salesmen that that can go out and meet people, they can do a bit of networking, they can do bits and bobs of everything, and then do a little bit of telemarketing on the side, a couple of hours a day. They tend to last a bit longer, but when you're running a call centre, it's just 9 hours a day, 8 hours a day, purely hammering the phones. It doesn't last very long.
What I really like about this is, obviously, I know you're an action coach and whatnot. You're very raw, so you've done this yourself. You've not come at it from a business angle. You've come at it from the ground up.
Yeah.
And it's took for someone else to see your talents.
Yeah. To
then actually form the business. So that's slightly different to how people normally get into business.
Yeah.
It's not very... what's the word I'm looking for? It's not really much of a surprise, really, given that you're very hardworking. You do what you say you're going to do. And then is it fair to say you fell into this business then?
I guess you fell into it. I mean, with his support, it was. And then obviously I got introduced to the action coach. And to be fair, that's where I met John Asquith. Right, I'd done a bit of training with him in Sheffield. And I didn't really know who he was at the time. I just thought he worked there, we just part
First impressions?
First impression, like the guy could sell, and I knew I was a bit egotistical. I know I wanted top salesman because every company I worked in, I was always top at leaderboard, and I met him and did the training with him. I thought, God, this guy knows what he's talking about. So I sort of made mates with him, and then, you know, he said to me, if you ever need help, just give me a ring. So I were obviously just on my little telemarketing travels, like, and every time I'd come across something, I'll ring in John and all, like, can you help me with this? And bless him, like, I didn't realise who he were or what he were doing, and he'd just give me feedback and help me calls and stuff like that. So when I eventually found out he was sales director, I thought, bloody hell, I've been hammering his phone 100 times a day. Do you know
He's a good guy, though, isn't he?
Yeah, really helpful, really helpful.
He is really helpful.
And I think that's the reason I asked him to coach me initially, because he'd run call centres. He were obviously one of the best salespeople I've ever come across. And I figured he's better than me, so he obviously knows what he's doing. So yeah, it were good, and there were just loads to learn from. Whereas up until that point, it was me sort of thinking I knew everything to do with sales, you know, best selling marketer going, and so yeah. But anyone that's better than me, I'm open to learning. Like I just want to get better at it.
It's like anything, though, isn't it? You know, if someone's got, you know, different level of experience and training and whatnot, you need to learn from them. I think the saying goes, if you want to be better than chess, play someone who can beat you every time.
Yeah, this is
learn
it.
from them.
This is it. Yeah, that's exactly it.
All right, so just quickly, not going into too much detail, Scott. We're going to go back first before we go forward. How long's the business been trading then?
So I was freelance from 2019. So that's the job I got with that action coach at home. That was 2019 January. By September 2019, he'd helped me with my first client, or sort of give me the courage to take on that client, and obviously then just become, I guess, my first client sort of thing. Took on the next client. That went for about, how long did that go? That went on for about 6 months. And slowly, it was just through word of mouth. So as I was telemarketing, people were saying, you know, were you employed? And I was like, no, I'm freelance. So then they'd be like, I could do with someone what you're doing. So that was quite easy to win the custom. And then that September 2020 was when I went limited. So really, it's not been long, has it? 4 years?
Oh, 4 years is a long time, right? I mean, I know it's not considering the bigger picture.
Grand scheme of things.
But it's a long time considering that year has such an impact on absolutely everybody across the globe.
Yeah, so when I set the company up, I'd set the business up in September, got my name and everything, you know, made a little logo, and I thought, we're doing it, and then you March it, didn't it? And I literally lost all my clients, apart from that one action coach. They all went. So, and also you couldn't do telemarketing because at that point nobody worked from home. So every company were in position then thinking, right, how do we deal with our staff? You know, they had to set up remotely there. You know, everyone's dealing with all that. So, you know, people don't like taking cold calls on best of days, and then you're in the midst of that. So I lost everybody. And at that point I was just like, so this is not for me. Like I can't run a business, do you know what I mean? I'll just get a job in a call centre again.
Yeah, you literally just opened doors and then got hit with a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
I mean, that must have been brutal.
It was, and so there were just, it was tough. And
how did you get over it?
So my business is, not a lot of people know this, so I don't know if you want to share it.
If you don't want to get it in there, we can take it out, but don't worry.
So I lost a baby years ago, and we were going to call her Kia. So I'd named the company after that. So this action coach, he didn't know that at the time. And it was just, as I were having a flat, like, this is rubbish, you know, no one's even, how's this going to work? It's not for me. He just turned around and he was trying to encourage me. And then I sort of had a little bit of an attitude going on. And he just turned around and goes, what then? You're going to throw towel in on Kia then? That's what you're going to do. And as he said it, I put phone down on him because he'd obviously pissed me off. But he didn't know what he'd said. And that just hit me. And I was just like, nah, I can't give up.
Not putting this baby down.
Yeah, so that's literally the only reason it kept going, because I thought I'm not, and it because of them words, and at the time I didn't know what he was saying. So
do you know what I love about that? It's raw.
Yeah,
you know, there's passion connected to that.
Yeah,
and I think that's the biggest difference.
It's a huge driver. That's the thing.
Yeah, well, this is ultimately what I'm coming from. The angle of okay, being self-employed or being employed is one thing, but everybody knows it's not theirs unless they've got shares in the business.
Yeah, when
you become a business owner, there is generally reason as to why you're in that situation in the first place. Now, what I love about this is, humbly, you fell into that, right? And the business then became a thing. Someone saw a huge potential in you, and they went for it, and that inevitably forced you into this situation.
A little bit, yeah.
But you're taking it with open arms, and you've attached your inner passion to it, which then became, is it fair to say, a driving force?
Well, it is a driving force, yeah, because there are days, anyone in business know there's days where you want to want keys in, don't you? Like we've all been there. And like that happens. That happens a lot in business, you know. It's
companies don't pay staff, just overturn. You have to do it for them, and
this is it.
I mean, this is part and parcel of business, right?
Yeah.
You know, but the book stops with us. But when you've got that inner passion, and you know it exists for a reason,
yeah,
it's just a rainy day. Don't matter how big the problem is, and you get over it. You know, from my perspective, I'm all about, you know, resilience, mindset, leadership, that kind of thing, and leading by example. I think we spoke about this at the event, didn't we? You can't necessarily control the event, but what you can control is your response to that event.
How do you react to it? How do you respond to it? And I'm very much a reactive person, not a not a responsive person. So yeah, I can. Yeah, that's it. And it is, but it's tough and it's hard. But that's the thing that sort of keeps it going. Is like it's that name. I can't let it die out. And I just thought, you know, one day people will mention name, whether she's there or not, you know, people will still say it. And they do, you know, and it's nice to hear when people, you know, sometimes people message you on LinkedIn or they'll inquire about your services and I'll always ask, like, where did you get name from? And just like, oh, you know, I just seen you on LinkedIn. I thought, it's actually there. Like, I think I buzz off it more than most, but
no, it's amazing.
I just think, like, people are actually seeing name and, like, people are actually saying it, you know. Like, someone's gone to a meeting and discussed whether they should use us or, you know, even if they do or they don't, it's like they've spoken it, you know. So those kind of things, really.
Well, I'm not going to say a little bit about this because we'll get to this next part. You know what's coming. But I think what's fair to say is, although you had the sledgehammer through COVID, you opened the doors and someone hit you in the face and put you back in the house.
Yeah.
Right. You had that motive there. And be it was that phrase that made you slam the phone down on him or not.
Yeah.
You fought on and you flourished. And here you are today, thriving business.
Yeah, fortunately, it's gone all right.
Right, we're going to go way back. I don't know why I'm pointing over this way, by the way. It could be that way. But we're going back. What's the little girl in you look like? You know, 5-year-old. Did you have a dream? What did you want to be when you were older?
What did I want to be? What did I want to be? I don't know, you know.
Well, like a fairy tale or... So little boys want to be firemen, didn't they? You know, back then, they want to be YouTubers. I'll
tell you what
now.
I did. I always wanted to be... I wanted to do special effects, you know, for films like that. Do you know, like the Terminator, Freddy Krueger, and I wanted to do that.
Hang on a minute, we're talking about princesses and Disney characters, things like this. Fireman sounds, or maybe an astronaut.
No, I remember writing in a book. I remember you saying it. I'm thinking, where's it coming from? But yeah, I wrote it in a book once. What did I want to do? And it was that really interested me.
Wow.
Makeup artists, but not makeup artists in the sense of like for actors and actresses. It waffle the like the I mean, it's all AI generated now and all.
Is it?
I don't know AI. It's all CGI. That's it. Yeah. So you don't necessarily have as much of it now, but back in the day, like it used to be
a lot of it. Yeah,
it used to be. You know, the monsters and everything were created. That there were
plasticine and stuff like that.
Plasticine and stuff, and it was like. But what they made costumes, aren't they? Costumes were made, and actual physical people were makeup on. And now, like I said, it's all CGI. So that was one of the first things I wanted.
How old are you roughly?
So that would have been. I remember doing that book because we kept it. My mum's kept it, and that would have been before we moved here. So we were in Exford about. We moved on 06, so before 6. Yeah.
You see, that's interesting.
So that's way off of where I've ended up.
Well, I mean, the two are polar opposites, right? But what's interesting is that a 6-year-old in a sort of like a creative mindset.
Yeah, so I do like art. I do for hobby, so I draw as a hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
What do you draw?
Oh, landscapes, like just like birds. Oh, you just pick a picture online, something that looks good, and I'll just sort of learn how to. Yeah, so that's something I do.
Where did you learn that?
I've always liked drawing, like art through school. I was always good at it. So
I love drawing.
Yeah.
Not like, but slightly therapeutic in a way.
Yeah, it's more of that. Like I wouldn't do it for a job because then it just becomes a chore. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of them where you just.
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what we did through COVID? We got the boys into drawing.
Yeah. So,
you know, we'd put a tutorial on how to draw and what to draw.
Yeah.
So it gave you the whole steps from beginning pen paper right the way through to the end product. And I think we'd done like, you know, a couple of animals. We'd done The Simpsons and drawn loads of things. And It was a
Yeah.
really good family interacting kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
exercise.
Yeah, my son likes drawing as
But I was
well.
extremely competitive. I wanted to have the best drawing. Do you know what I mean? I would not be happy if like Kate beat me or if like Holly was pretty good
Nice.
actually. But yeah, so where did that come from? Is that something that you've always just loved doing or?
I think so. Yeah, my mum's good at drawing. My mum's a good artist, but again, it's just for hobby. But
Yeah, yeah.
she's really good. Like she'll draw portraits at kids and everything. I can't do that.
Wow, that's next level stuff. That's not a
she's
hobby.
really good. She's really good.
That's
Well, I
fair
don't
play.
but she does it as a hobby. She doesn't do it often. Like when
I
both
want
the
to think
kids were born,
twice.
she
Living off that.
yeah,
Might be something there, you know.
open another little business, shall we?
So you've obviously 6-year-old got a vision, you're loving it, and a bit of a hobby on the side. Any other kind of hobbies at that time, or?
No, because my dad's foreign, isn't it? So he always pushing us to be a doctor.
I love
Doctor
that.
or a lawyer, that's what you're going to be. So just whatever you want to do is always sort of like that's where your head. That's where we were thinking to go.
Yeah. Does he? Strange question. Obviously, you finished school straight to call centre.
Yeah.
Did he see you as a failure?
I don't know. You'd have to ask him, but I think so.
Is it because I mean, you know what? Like, I say to my kids today, what do you want to be when you're older?
Yeah.
And I see him go, oh, Evan's like, I want to be a YouTuber.
Yeah.
This kind of thing. And Harley's now, I want to be a professional footballer.
See, this is like my mum because my mum's from here, so she's just like, as long as you're happy, do you know what I mean? You can do what
That's
you want.
it. Well, I literally say to the boys, what you should be is happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah, and to be honest, that's something I've come to realise just in the
But we're
last
not going
6
there
months.
yet because I know where you're going.
Yeah.
I'm going to slow you down and put your brakes on because your story is incredible, really. It's one that I want to make sure it comes out right. So we'll get your backstory first. But your dad, that's interesting. I didn't know that. So your dad's sort of saw you as like, which is very normal, right? I mean, I remember my friends
don't
and
know.
got expectations
I think,
up here.
yeah.
I suppose my mum and dad were like, oh, you got to be a university.
Yeah.
And I got it. And I'm Donny born and bred. And I suppose when someone said to me when I was young about university, I'd imagined they were, oh, yeah, you take all your belongings with you and you go and live there. And I just thought you were like this village that you went to with pots and pans. And that was it. This is it. I had no idea what it
You
is,
didn't
but
know
obviously I
you
was
were.
young. And obviously as you go through school, you kind of get a gist of it. But
Yeah.
I never really had an ambition
Yeah.
to go to university. Who wanted to finish studying to go more studying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, exactly.
It was just bizarre for
But
me.
counting
So
days down or years down, weren't you,
Yeah.
to finish?
get
school?
out of there. But I had the professional footballer mindset as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So, go on then. In secondary school, you had the expectation burning here,
Yeah.
homework, discipline, da-da-da.
Yeah.
What was that sort of period like? Was it driven into you or was it a bit more of, I'd like you to be a doctor kind of thing, but see what happens?
No, or like you have to be a doctor or a lawyer. Yeah.
Was it pressed into you?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
It's
interesting.
funny
Good
because
discipline.
I did the same with my kids, even though I never did it. The minute they were like, oh, I enjoy this, it's like, no, just study science.
Yeah, come here, come
So
on.
I think he's just ingrained in us.
I love it, that hereditary. No,
But it's
you
funny
will be
because
a
Anthony will say, my husband will say, like, as long as they're happy, like, you should, if our kids, like, cleaning bins or whatever and they come home and they're whistling, like, who cares? And I'm like, oh, no. Well, like, you, doctor or a lawyer, that is what we
Yes,
expect.
come on. There's some standards.
And that's what I mean. So I think it's just in us, isn't it? I think it's just ingrained. But
Well,
you
you want the
speak
best for your
to...
kids, don't you?
You want best for everyone wants best for kids, but I think it's an Asian thing, isn't it? You speak to any Asian, they are expected to be a doctor or a lawyer. Or you're either a doctor, a lawyer, or you're a failure. You got 3 options.
Yeah.
Pick one.
So why did you go for that one then, Shaf? You targeted it.
I aim for stars and I hopefully hit the moon.
I love that. I love it. Yes. I mean, to be fair, you made that choice then. You went through school. Was it straight from school? Or did you go to sixth form?
No, so straight from school, I went to college, and then what did I study?
What did you study?
So I studied art first, went on an art course,
Oh,
but
we
didn't finish
continued
it.
that hobby.
I did, yeah. To be fair, because that was what that I come out with an A in
Why
art.
then?
So. To be honest, at that point, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and it was just the only thing that I was good at in school.
Quite
so
normal that.
Yeah, I mean, I did all right. I got my GCSEs and stuff.
You got
like
an A, Shaf. You did fantastic. Give yourself
that.
some
Right,
credit.
I did all right. So, but then I enjoyed that. So I thought, I don't know what I want to be. Let's go do a bit of art. Then I didn't finish that. Then I went and studied accounting.
What? Big shift? What was
Big
this to
shift,
appease?
so-
I failed at my hobby. I'm going to appease my dad.
So that wasn't on the list of his things, were it? But I think an accountant's quite reputable. So if I'd have gone on and been an accountant, you still would have been happy. So
That'll do.
But I were all right at maths as well. So you're failing art because I didn't enjoy doing art because I sort of realised that, it's going to become a job if I go into this industry and do something in it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I was just, some people would know what they wanted. I just didn't have a clue. I was just sort of like floating through life.
I love that. Just like whatever.
Just whatever. Yeah. So
Freelance.
I didn't really have a plan, to be honest. I didn't have a plan. Didn't have a plan about going to uni. I didn't really know, to be honest. Yeah.
Not many, I mean, I've spoken to a lot of people doing this now, and it's fair to say not many people did.
No, I think, yeah, you do your options when you're in like year 9, and Mikey's just done his like 13, 14. So how are you supposed to pick your options? Options for what? Like, how do you know? How are you supposed to even know? You don't have a clue.
I was, I've been since like my work, I went back basically writing a bit of a bio about like my work career, right from leaving school into getting into work and whatnot. And every now and again I'll get it out, fill it in, and then you think of something and you add it, and it's quite a big document now. And I remember the same thing, a career advisor sort of said to me, "Look, what do you want to be?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I want to be a footballer.
Yeah.
I don't really need to worry about a career." Kind of one of them.
I'm going to be rich.
Yeah. And he said to me, "Look, I've got something for you, And he sent me a couple of us on this Wathgill training camp in military. And you went for a week, I think it was. And it was all about, resilience building, discipline, leadership, mindset, things like that. And you literally lived, breathed, being in the military for a whole week. You were away, there were no teachers. There was no one who you knew.
So who were looking after you?
The military. So we had a full staff sergeant, everything. And I mean, listen, they gave us a harsh grilling. You might get woken up at 5 a.m. by a hose pipe. Get outside doing press-ups. It was
How
full.
long were you there for?
Maybe 14, 15, 16. I can't actually remember.
What, for a few years?
No, you only did it for like a week.
Oh, I see. Oh, I thought you meant. Yeah, I thought you'd gone into the military, right?
No, can't claim that I've ever been in the military. Disclaimer. But what it did, it kind of grounded me a little in that the amount of respect that I had from that experience did change me. And what I remembered was at the very end, I'd done this running race and whatnot, and I'd won it. But the way in which it was done, I was the little guy. I should have never won that race. But the way in which their training happens, it's psychological. And I remember, I need to prove a point. I need to prove my worth. And I won this race.
Yeah.
And at the end, everyone got a certificate for attending, but not everyone got medals and bits and pieces.
Yeah.
I've still got mine. I've got it to a record of achievement thing, which I've never used. It's probably got more cobwebs on it than a basement.
It's good though. I
Donny.
like keeping stuff like that.
But it reminded me and brought me a different skill set than I probably would have never experienced. But I remembered he said these to me, and these words have never left my mind really. In that kids like you, because I'd aced the course, right? He says, "Look, you've by far best into squad here. But kids like you will never be in the army. You're too smart. You're not like us."
That's what he said.
And I remember saying to him, "I'm telling you, I'm signing up. This is by far the best thing I've ever done in my life." And he went,
"So did you want to go into the army at that point then?"
I had no ambition to be in the military, but after leaving there, I was like, wow, this is incredible.
I'm doing
Literally, I'm doing it. If this is work and a career, I'm doing it. And it really inspired me. It was incredible.
Yeah.
The discipline, the march. I mean, we marched every day.
So what took you out of that then?
I suppose listening to my mum and dad, maybe it was a bit more like, you ain't joining military. It's just not happening. But he were right.
Yeah.
As much as I told him to his face, nah, you're wrong. I will be there. He was absolutely right. And I can't remember his name for life of me. I remember Butch because he was a big, bloody, scary ginger dude, him.
Yeah.
But I can't remember this dude's name. And he just said, look, I see tens of thousands of kids and we know who's going to be military or not.
It's interesting, isn't it, that sometimes like it's just one little sentence, like I mentioned earlier, and it's like that proper sticks with you now. He's just gone about his daily life and he probably doesn't even remember he's ever said it to you.
No, probably not. He probably wouldn't bat an eyelid. Probably wouldn't remember it from Adam. But I think the honesty is, I mean, I took it and it stayed with me, and I genuinely, I wanted to, in a way, prove him wrong. But obviously, something's twisted my arm, changed my mind, and it was never on the cards for me. Maybe the realisation I weren't going to be playing football, so maybe that was it. But it is quite interesting that certain things do stick with you and that can actually have a big impact on your decision making. Yeah, it's true. It's true, like I said. And sometimes this is why I think like teachers are important in school, because it could just be one little thing that you say to a kid when he's 5-year-old that sends him in a completely different direction, So it's like sometimes, because I know my son, he picked one subject over the other because it's like, oh, that teacher, I hope I don't get that teacher, so I'd rather gamble my chances with that. And it's like that's just sort of, that could change the whole course of what he ever does in his life, So I think teachers have that, a huge responsibility, and I think it's important that they... Absolutely. It's a big significant impact, isn't it, like you're saying?
Yeah.
All right. Which teacher had a significant impact on you then?
Which teacher had a significant impact? So when I were in year 1, they had this teacher, Mrs. Hutchinson. She was the loveliest teacher ever. I can't picture her, I can't remember. I just remember she was lovely. And she taught me for that year, and then she were moving schools. So I think she moved to somewhere called Hornsey. Still don't know where on map that is, but I remember she moved to Hornsey. I remember she moved to Hornsey. And I used to write her letters and she used to write back. This was when I was about, what's year 1? 6, 7, something like that.
Wow,
5 or 6
year
years.
1.
Yeah, and she... So I'll always remember it. But now as I'm older, when I was little, it was just what we did, and I was talking to her, and she'd write back. But now thinking back, it's like she was just a teacher, and she left. Like, why was she still, why was she still asked about writing letters back to a student? You know what I mean?
I've got a little experience with our youngest Evan, and I didn't realise how much teachers do actually care.
Some of them really do, Some of them really do. Yeah.
And you can see it, and you when you see it at that level and they care, it does take a different breed of human. It does,
it's like my sister. My sister-in-law's a teacher, and it's like the amount of stuff she does outside, and the amount of money she'll make little bits for them, and it's like, none of that's funded, And sometimes I feel, what are you doing that for? But it's because she cares. She cares about kids, and so some of them do, and it does have a big impact on them, I think.
What were you like at school?
I were actually really good. You know why you say it like that? What were you expecting? I were actually really good. I was a proper geek in school.
You didn't misbehave at all?
No, so when I got into older years, so I hated PE. That is one thing. I'm too lazy for PE. I hated PE, and it used to be Friday afternoon. So
yeah, but we were scarred, weren't we, as kids? Because can you remember we had to have like them pants on? White little. In fact, no. Freezing. I remember at primary school, you had to be in your little underpants. Right, and your little vest. It didn't matter, boy or girl. You all got stripped off together, and you all did you do, and then you got back.
It was just, I hate being outside. I hate being cold. That is one thing.
You live in the UK, Shaf. Well,
that's another story, isn't it? This is part of the other story. But no, I hated PE. That were a Friday afternoon, so I always used to twag that in high school. But other than that, I were a proper guy. I'd got on with my lessons. So you get a little bit cheeky sometimes with teachers, but then I will try to play class clown sometimes,
Yeah.
So if people were laughing, that'd just egg it on. If I didn't have mates in a class, I'd do really well in that class.
Love it.
So I was good actually.
School, you're pretty good actually. Good attitude. Did your grades. Did really well in your grades. Got an A's as well. A's, I like it.
Yeah, I did all right.
So you went to college. Did a bit of a 180 after you'd quit the art thing there.
I think I was just dabbling with stuff. You don't know what you're doing. I'm just in and out of everything. Yeah. So.
What did you start call centre then?
Call centre. That were after that, to be honest. So me and my mate got a job door to door knocking. So getting you sign up direct debits for cancer research, Dogs Trust.
So you went straight into selling, really?
Yeah, because I didn't know what else could you do. There was no qualifications, was there? So I didn't.
Well, and you did get a a bit of early training on selling.
Well, that company were a bit of a scam. So what happens is you get the job and he says if you build a team of 5 people and you bring in X number of leads, as in X number of direct debits a day, that you can have your own little team in your own little office.
Right.
So I were really driven.
Carrot's
and I
dangled.
thought, right, yeah. So dangled carrot, I bit it. So what happens is I built this in, but he kept on, whenever there were interviewees, he'd always chuck me the shit ones. I don't know why. I don't know if he didn't like me or if I don't know if it was just in my head. But he always used to chuck me the shit. I'm thinking, you're supposed to train this person. So I had to train him, and sometimes I'd be outdoors, and it was a commission-only job. So if you don't make no sales, you don't get no money. So sometimes you take home loads of money. But when I'm trying to train somebody and they can't sell, sometimes I'm having to pass some mileage because I'm thinking, I don't want you to leave, because if you leave, that's just one of my team members down. So I need my entire team. So I built the team of 5 people. And I thought, like, now in hindsight, I'm thinking, God, if I can teach them, maybe that's helped, hasn't it? I can train people to sell. So, but then eventually I got there, got the 5, and then it come out that this were a big scam and the company got shut down. And you can Google it. Yeah, it were a bit of a scam. It were ran all over the country.
Rough.
Yeah. So,
well, you took some valuable skills from that, though.
But then in hindsight, I'm like, yeah, it were valuable.
This is interesting.
Yeah, so little things like, building rapport, sort of like how people are
It's
maybe
interesting how
teaching
you're managing your team. I know the carrot was dangled, but if that carrot weren't dangled, would you have developed the skills?
I think I was looking at bigger picture. So I might not make no money today because I've given them money. But then I was living at home, so I didn't need much money anyway. It's not like I had a mortgage and bills or anything to pay for, so I could afford to give them a little bit. I was sort of looking at the bigger picture. So if I've got a plan in my head, I'll strive and I'll work to get it. If there's a mountain in front of me, I will get to the top. That's how I've always been.
Yeah, I like that. You've literally feathered your nest. You've built your team.
Yeah.
You're looking after your team because, again, they then eventually going to ask you. But by the sounds of it, the rug was pulled from
that's it. Yeah, so it were all a big scam. So I think for me, the problem is I never know what the mountain is. And then when somebody gives me an idea and puts the mountain in front of me, I'll go and climb it. That's it. But if you say, what's your next mountain? Well, I don't know. I ain't got a clue.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, well, all right, let's go to it. You must have done some planning, Shaf. Because let's go, right, let's fast track it now to the point. You've built a phenomenal business.
Yeah.
Of which you have worked your way out of it. So tell us a little bit about that. Drop the penny. So
Wikia Marketing. So it's been hard work. I'm not gonna lie, it's been really hard.
Tell me business is not hard work.
There's me. It's just me. Everyone else is easy. I've done the hard work. Yeah. But it's been hard. I think it's you've got to initially doing telemarketing. It was just me on job, and I know I'm good at it. Now, when you've got a customer, I know I can service them. I know I can satisfy the customer. When you've now got somebody else on that stuff and they're not performing, it's my name and the customers. The customers are my case. So for me, it's just like, what do? You just be like, they're shit, aren't they? I agree. I'll do it myself, which was my attitude for a long time. That's sort of how I always fell back. It's like, well, I'll just bloody do it myself then, because you're asking me what's going on. You're asking me why they're not performing. I don't bloody know. You speak to them. They're shit at the job. What can I say? So what else am I going to do other than just me jump back on tools and do the job? So it was difficult to go from that. So initially, my first hire, coincidentally though, this is what I've learned over the years with team, but my first employee was so good. You're brilliant. She was selling like tip-top level. Yeah. Lead generation. We got on really well. And I was just like, wow. And then I took on a second member of staff, and coincidentally, she was also amazing and just a really good egg. You come across somebody and they've got the right attitude. And I had no recruitment skills or nothing. This was pure by coincidence, because the way I was doing it, I was putting jobs out on Indeed. And whoever applied, I'd just ring them and I'd just be like, do you want to start? There was no interview process. I'd talk to them if they could hold a conversation, and coincidentally they did. So there was no interview process. You just got a job. And for me, it's like, now in hindsight, they were applying for a real job, which weren't really a job or I didn't know what I was doing. So coincidentally, she were really good as well. So in my head, obviously I've got on my high horse thinking, well,
This is easy, this business
is
game.
easy, do you know what I mean? What are people talking about? I get 10 of these, I'm cushy, do you know what I mean? So that was my plan. And then I took on third member, and it's like, that didn't go so well. And I'm like, that just hit me because I weren't used to it. And I'm just like, oh, what's happened here?
Yeah, who are you?
Yeah. So yeah, that were a lucky coincidence that them two were good.
Well, you started to build a team. And obviously, as it is today, the business is...
Yeah.
I want you to say it. What does it look like now from when you first built it?
So the business now, it looks all right. So they've got, a few team members. And
where do you live?
Where do I live? I don't even know. I live in Lincolnshire. My residency is in Lincolnshire.
Stop trying to hide it, Shaf. I'll put it out here.
No, we did. So fortunately, we're really lucky. So last year, we just went on a one-way ticket. Got one-way ticket to Sri Lanka, and from there we have been able to travel. So we've done Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, and then we've just been sort of, the little islands off of Thailand and Burma. We've just been all over there, so it's been really good.
I mean, it's bliss out there, isn't it?
It's
like paradise.
It's like
which one are you talking, like Tatcha Islands, Fifi Islands, like that?
Yeah, like all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's some, so you just, if you zoom in on map, you can see little islands. So some of them are like popular tourist destinations, like the PP Islands. But if you zoom in, there's other islands around. You just ask a fishing boat to take you, and there's, no tourists there. So some of the most remote islands,
the beach is just white. It's just
white sand, blue sea.
Yeah.
It's honestly, I feel like I found heaven out there. That paradise is real.
I've been myself. It's incredible. So
yeah.
The penny's dropped, obviously, now. You have successfully built a business that, enables you to remote operate.
Yeah.
You are remote operational.
Yeah.
And obviously the team are thriving over here, which that is incredible.
Yeah, look, I stay in close contact with them. We text every day. I still like to, because I think people like to feel a part of something, and if you can be friendly with them, they don't. I feel like they like to know that they're valued and appreciated. So we were friends before I went out, so you don't want to sort of distance yourself, otherwise it just becomes a job then. Whereas now they still work with a mate, and I think they like it.
I think it's, from my perspective, I think it's really, really important that you have got those local touch points. I mean, set your finger off the pulse is a big no-no for me anyway.
Yeah.
Don't matter if you've, if you've jumped from MD to CEO, or you've now hired a CEO and you've, this is your main shareholder. You should still somebody who's reporting key information to you, on your behalf, in my perspective. But, what's incredible is that you started this by, just getting a job, because it was, the most local kind of job in Doncaster.
Yeah.
And a business was forced upon you. You get a sledgehammer of COVID, and that inner, that inner passion, that connection to the name actually kept you to it, you tied you to it, and you've nurtured this baby to be an absolute beauty.
Yeah.
And it's enabled you to now travel the globe.
Yeah.
Whilst this... Is it fair? The business is thriving, but do you still class this baby as your baby, or is it just a business?
I think... Would I class it as mine? I don't know, sometimes I'm a little bit emotional over it, and sometimes no. If I won the lottery, if I won Euro Millions, would I keep it? I don't know. I don't know is the answer to that.
John once said to me, drop the baby. Because a baby you've got an emotional attachment to. Whereas a business, if you've got a team around you.
Yeah.
And they have got passion and maybe potential ownership in that business as well, then business decisions need to be made on a logical basis.
You have to make decisions. Yeah, this is it. So my downfall is I do often make emotional decisions.
We're emotional people, Shaf.
Sometimes my emotions are a little bit. But no, Kate, she's my right-hand man, and she does hold me accountable.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, is it right? Recently you took a bit of a telling off from her.
I get bollocks all the time from her. So she's on maternity leave last year. So she's come back, and her job is to make sure the business is streamlined. You know, if there's no process in place, put it in place. Her job is to foresee problems that could happen and make sure there's something in place before they even happen.
Yeah.
So when she's come back, you know, some sort of process has been slipped a little bit, and I've been slacking a little bit. So yeah,
Your fault.
I slap on wrist definitely.
No, I love that. You know, I think it, but I suppose that's the power of the team that you've built, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you know, she said to me, like, you know, I feel bad because, like, am I stepping out of line? I'm like, no, the thing is, like, you're getting paid to do a job. And if she weren't doing that and she didn't hold me to account and she didn't highlight those things or pull me up, in reality, really, she's not doing her job well.
Yeah, it's true.
So the fact she's doing it, like, she's doing a job well. So you need somebody like that. Whereas a lot of people, you know, they might not dare pull their boss up for...
Accountability is so important in a business.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, and I think that the first thing that we all need to remember is that we're all playing a role.
Yeah.
You know, no matter what role you're playing, it could be, and it doesn't mean to say that you should be feared. The MD's got a role to play. It's the hardest role to play in a business.
Yeah, this is it. So that's it. I don't want the team to ever fear me, but yeah, I think it's that, like, you know, it might just be uncomfortable going to see her and saying, but yeah, you know, she has to pull me up on stuff, because if she doesn't, she's not doing her job right then. So,
Absolutely.
You know.
So, you know, it's established your residency is. I know you're still based in the UK, but yet you are global now. You are a, you know, what are you, a jet setter? You're a, what do they call it? You literally just hop from island to island. Are you a backpacker?
Look, it's been backpacker. Yes, like, we do backpacking. So yeah, literally, what I took about. I think I've got about 2 pairs of shorts, 2 vests, and that's all I've got.
You're living the dream. You know, but yeah, rightly so. You're operational within the business. You know, you dip in and out. Obviously, when it's you've got your job to do, so to speak, which is great. I love that. It means that you can live the life that you want from the business that you've built and the team that you've obviously nurtured. And that's incredible. Hopefully, you do take a time to reflect on that while you're away.
Yeah. No, we're really lucky. I mean, you know, when we were out there, you know, there were times we just sat
lucky or I know you've worked hard on this.
It's been hard work.
So
yeah, I've worked hard then,
Yeah, you worked hard on it. You know, I think it'd be unfair, and John would probably, if he watches this, would probably
don't
agree.
show him it now.
I don't think you can put all of this down to luck, Shaf. You've worked hard.
No, I think, you know, there's opportunities, and some of it is luck. You know, I luckily bumped into John that day at Sheffield and got to know him, and he's been my coach for 4 years.
Yeah, but you didn't have to ring him, Shaf.
I didn't have to ring, and then there's opportunity. So I think it takes a bit of both. I think with no luck, then, you know, there might not be opportunity. But it's about seeing those opportunities, and it's about seeing the opportunities as well. Some
but how far do we go? Because the reality is, look at back in your training from your early days. You know, you had to see that opportunity. You had to put faith in certain things, and this rug has not been pulled from beneath you. You know, you've basically knitted that rug. It's yours.
Yeah. I think that's the difference. It's because it was mine. I could take it wherever I wanted. So
absolutely,
that's the difference. Yeah.
So there has been plans put in place. You have implemented some of your plans.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it was a great momentum that you'd been through that journey. But I think from our perspective as like spectators looking in your journey. It was also great to see. It was like, that's a special moment. You know what I mean? It was like, brilliant. That's great, because you've actually ticked a huge box that many would love to tick, but probably too scared to tick.
I think the biggest thing, you know, is it was a scary decision to make, you know. So initially we only went out for 4 months, 3-4 months.
I remember you saying that,
So we went out and we were supposed to come back. So we'd agreed with school that they gave us an allowance of 3 weeks after September. So we went a few weeks before 6 weeks holidays, and we agreed with the teacher that we'd come a few weeks after, so mid-September. So we got to the end of August, and then we were still sat there, and we were just like, we're looking at each other like, no, we don't go back to it. So then we had to make a decision, like, you either go back, you need to book your flights to start in school next week, or we don't send them to school. Like, then we're going to have to get in touch with school. So one way or another, like, we were just pushing it off, or brushing it off. And then it come to crunch time. So we spoke to kids, and we sort of asked what they wanted to do, and they were just having most fun. And
I love that they're having a journey that's, you know, open-minded, and that they can experience the world.
Yeah.
You know, whilst assume they're getting homeschooled.
So now we homeschool. So the biggest and scariest decision ever was pulling them out of school, because it's like, one,
especially when you've got to be a doctor or a lawyer. It's a big expectation, isn't it?
So I didn't, but I remember the day I went to my dad and I remember showing him my accounts and I was just like, I didn't make doctor, but I made director, and I think he was pleased with that, so that was good enough.
Oh, I like that.
So yeah, but I think a lot of that was striving to.
Did you get the nod of approval from him?
The nod of approval, that was the one. I got the nod of approval. I think I might have even got a hug.
You must be proud though, because like you said,
think
it's
he
such
is
a big
now.
achievement.
Well, the thing is, I had a baby really young. I was only 20.
Yeah.
So I think, not becoming a doctor, not doing all that. And then when I was about 18, 19, I got mixing in with the wrong crowd. I mean, doing things.
No matter which way you look at that though, there's things that happened then actually paved way to what you're doing today.
Yeah, look, and I had to grow up a lot. So my mum went to uni at that point. She's always wanted to go to uni and, she never had the opportunity. And so she went to university. And that was when I had Kane. And I remember at the time, I didn't have a clue. I couldn't look after myself. I didn't know how to cook, didn't know how to clean, didn't know how to do nothing. I was so like, I lived at home, but I was proper babied by my dad, like he really, I didn't have to do anything. And so what happens was, I think my brother was speaking to me and like, you're gonna have to, you can't go to uni, can you? Like, what? So my mum chucked me in deep end and she was like, she'll sink or swim, and if I know Shaf, she will swim.
She'll do it.
So so that's why. So I was left with this. I was left with
Love it.
yeah, and so I had to grow up. I had to learn to cook. I had to learn to clean. I had to learn what bills were.
Get it
I had
sorted.
to learn you had to pay for bloody water. I thought that come for free in this country.
Yeah, I can imagine that. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? No, so what's next then? I mean, don't say I don't know, because the business.
No, I do know now.
Right.
I do know.
Come on, give us it.
So
Can you tell us?
Yeah, of course. So we booked a one-way flight back out. So we came to visit. We come to visit Mum and see everyone, and then we're back out one-way ticket, and we're just.
You've come
just
to
not
rub it
coming
in and
back.
say bye.
Yeah. So that's it. Yeah. No, we decided that is the life, and I've always been chasing summer, and it was literally a year to the day in June 2023 that had a coaching session, and he turned around to me and he's like, I jumped on an hour excited. So the business was running at that point, and we'd streamlined it and it was working. I think I was working about 4 hours a week. It was ridiculous. Yeah. And he rang me, is that what you're doing? And I was like, no, really. And he's like, no, what are you actually doing right now? I was like, oh, I'm just at work. And he's like, doing what? And I think I was just I don't know even what I'm doing. Or on internet, I don't know, watching podcasts, watching watching videos. And he said, so why are you in the office? And I'm like, I just come here. He's like, what, 9 to 5 every day? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, why? So I didn't know. I thought that's what you just do. You still got to work. And he said, can I say something? So I got excited. I said to him, like, I've got another business idea I think we should do. I think we should set up something else. So he's like, we need to have a conversation. So, and it sounded a serious one, so I thought, oh, God, I'm in trouble. So I remember getting that
Prep
session.
yourself.
Yeah, I do. So I've gone to him. He says, I need to say something to you. I'm worried about you. And I was like, why? He said, you're more financially comfortable now than when I first met you, but you don't seem any happier. I was like, oh, I thought I was. And he said, no, deep down, like joy. I don't see it. And I was like, oh, well, maybe let's open another business. And he's like, what for? And I'm like, more money. So what do you want more money for? Well, like, I think what kind of stupid conversation is this? What do you mean more money?
Where's this going?
Where's this going? Who don't want more money? What are you talking about? And he said, you're like, what are you going to spend your money on then? And I'm like, what's it to you? What were all these questions coming up? I'm like, what do you mean I'm going to spend it? I said, I don't know. How? She was like, right. He goes, can I say something else? I'm like, you go on. He goes, you drive a second-hand car. It's the same one since I met you. He goes, you've got a second-hand phone. He goes, you use a canvas bag from Asda as my handbag.
I love it.
He goes, so tell me, what you spending your money on then that you want more money of? I goes, I don't know. So he said that you need to figure out. He goes, and that's what I'm worried about. I don't know. So at that point, and then, sort of like jokes aside, he was serious. And I said, what normally happens then with a client of yours, you get them to say, you set the goals, you set the plans, and you get here, and then what? And he just goes, they're happy. And I'm like, oh shit, what's wrong with me then? So this went on for about 3 or 4 months. He set me a piece of homework, to try and find out. where's my happiness? And it's not that I'm unhappy. Do you know what I mean? There's a difference. Like, I'm happy. There was nothing wrong with my life. It was, everything going all
You're
right.
just going through emotions.
Yeah, it's like, I think you can be happy, you can be sad, but this was just like, there's no sense of, I think, like, fulfillment. Like, I was still chasing
living.
something.
Yeah.
I'm living, yeah. So what happens then? He's sort of saying, what make you happy? So at this point, I didn't really know what to, every week I'm supposed to meet him, and I had nothing to bring to my session. And normally, you dare turn up to your session with nothing, no homework complete. But normally my homework's completed, there and there, ready for it. And every week again, I'm thinking, I don't know how to turn up to these sessions. I haven't gotten started. So I started making shit up, didn't I? So I've gone to him, I'm like, I know what I want the money for. I want a bigger house. And he said, what do you want a bigger house for? And I was like, bigger bedrooms, kids to have bigger room, bigger garden. And he was just like, no, you don't.
I know you, Shaf.
I know. He's like,
No, you don't.
So he sent me away, come back next week. And I'm like, I think I said something else. I want a bigger house because I want this, I want that. And I'm just making stuff up on these sessions. And he was just like,
Not buying
you don't. So it was hard because that went on for about 3 or 4 months. It's the hardest piece of homework I've ever had to do, which is weird because it's like, what makes you happy? Why don't you know?
Should be easiest.
Yeah, it should be easiest thing, right? So eventually he's gone, tell me your happiest moment that you can think of that's just, that comes to mind. And at that point I said, I remember being on a road trip with Anthony, and we had the best time. We'd been away for like a month. We'd done a Vietnam road trip.
Yeah.
And I said, when you get to the end and you just feel like, I don't want to come home. I said, that was probably the happiest time. Most people would say the kid's been born. I'm joking. Kid's been born.
Get it in there just when they're old enough. Honestly.
If you see this, your birthdays. So
They're going to see this at one point.
what you're like, edit it out.
You'll soon understand, honestly. Wait till you get to our age. I love it.
Yeah, so I said that was my happiest memory. And he's turned around and he's gone, well, what if you didn't come back then? I'm like, was you what? And he's like, what if you want to know that you didn't come back? Because what if you want to know that you didn't come back? So at that point, I'm just like, gee, I'm paying for these sessions, mate. This is a lot of money.
Yeah,
this is a lot of money to listen to this shit.
What? I'm going to pop for this.
So, and that was it. It was just like, just imagine for a minute. He's trying to get through to me. He's like, just imagine for a minute that you didn't come back. I'm like, so my head's straight gone to logic, and now I'm like, what are you even on about? I've got to work. Do you know what I mean? I've got school. I've got kids. I go to school. Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, just for a minute. Let's just play a game for a minute. Like, just imagine you could do that. Would it make you happy? Just hypothetically, would it make you happy? And I was just like, well, yeah, of course, that would be a fantasy. That would be dream. That would be dream come true. Would it really make you happy? And I was like, yeah, of course. Obviously, that's just stupid though. It's not going to happen. And he goes, what if we did it? And I'm thinking, what is it like? I figure you high. What are you talking about?
So what?
So,
where's John?
This is what I mean. So he's like, what if you could do it? So I'm reeling off all reasons, as to why I can't do it. And he just turned around to me like, they sound like excuses to me. I'm like, well, they're not excuses, are they? Because they're real. Because I've got this and I've got that. So, but yeah. So we went through them one by one, and we were like, well, what if we did this? And what if the kids could do it? And everything was just listed out. All my excuses, and they were
Erased
excuses.
out, yeah.
You just work through them one by one, and that were it. And a year to the date, coincidentally, we booked the flights, and that were it.
I remember that day.
It was a good day.
How did you feel?
That was just like, people say a dream come true, but it really was like beyond a dream come true, because a dream would have been like a dream holiday. Do you know what I mean? Not that could be a life out there.
What's incredible is, again, we're looking at the whole journey that you've experienced, and some of the key people who've had a significant influence on your life.
Yeah.
Have been from external, not necessarily like you or you plan. These people have seen something in you.
Yeah.
And it's took for them to not necessarily persuade you, but
influence, I think, definitely influence.
A huge influence, and say,
yeah,
you owe it to yourself, kind of thing. You've got this.
Yeah.
You can do this.
Yeah.
And when you
Sometimes it
see
takes that, doesn't it?
the reality is you know you can do it because you have that mentality in.
Yeah. I think sometimes it's just like lack of belief in yourself, you know, or in myself, I know, and just somebody else.
But that's strange, because you back yourself. Like, when it comes to, like, doing your job,
Yeah.
you know there's no one better than you.
But I know I'm good at that. I didn't know I was good at running a business and, you know, being able to build it and being able to do all of that. Can I sell? Can I do telemarketing? Yeah. I know I'm good at that bit.
Yeah, but a business is a team. It's a team of people.
Yeah.
I think that's great. And I think from my perspective, that a coach is vitally important as one of those people.
I definitely think without a shadow of a doubt, like having a coach definitely helped. Now, look, some people might have had coaches and they might not have been good ones.
I think there might be more excuse for that, though, like a connection between the coaches.
Homework, you know that can happen because it's their own work, or, you know, I'd be expected to do something if I wanted to get somewhere, and if you don't do it, it's not going to happen. So I did everything he asked me to do, but that was a sort of promise I made to him because I couldn't afford it at the time.
Yeah. I think what's really nice is that you've got a great team of people around you. They're continuing the business.
Yeah.
And again, it's registered in UK. You still, you're still a UK resident, although you are backpacking. But you're still doing your bit, and you're just living around the globe. And I think it's really inspiring that as a business owner, you've done something that I dare say less than 1%, and that's a complete guess.
Yeah.
I dare say everybody envisions that being able to be a reality, but you are one of the very, very rare cases that you've made it a reality. I think that's a huge success as an individual, as a business owner.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's good.
if we obviously come to the end, in terms of paying it forward, what sort of message would you pay forward from your experience to people listening to this?
Pay it forward. What do you mean?
In terms of, like, what message, what's been the biggest influence in your life that you've resonated from, that's sort of been a driver, be it from the name of the company, that been a big driving force, be it the influence of team, surrounding yourself with people. What is the main aspect to your success?
I think it's having that support. I mean, you know, like my husband, as I got into work, you know, and it's been hard work. There's been ups and downs, and you got to think he's the one that's had to deal with the emotion behind it. When I'm having a good day, I'm coming home laughing. When I'm having a bad day, no one else hears it. Who's getting that? Who's getting the brunt of that? You know, that's
punch bag at home.
This is it. So that couldn't have been nice. And at some points it was like, is this even worth it? You know, in his head. And for me, I'm like, yeah, because I'm doing this and I'm doing that. But for him, you know, there must have been a point, and I know there were points where it's like, you know, is this worth it? We're sort of, you're always working, you know, it's always hard work. And I just had that plan in my head, you know, that it's going to be worth it. You know, it's going to be worth it. We're just waiting. But it's the journey. So I think having a support, because not a lot of people have that, is
it's a nice
helpful.
one to touch on that. I think, looking back, I've equally got that same support.
Yeah.
And you can't take that for granted.
No.
Because what we're doing and motoring forward, and we just take for granted because it's part and parcel of doing the business. There's someone in the background looking, thinking, God, I want to be gifted that for a gold pig. And you're doing it, and you're still going forward. Yeah. But you don't see what they're going through, the pain and suffering and sacrifice that they're going through. So, that's a nice one. You know, making sure. Yeah. So if we was to summarise that, it'd be ensuring that your support network behind you. Yeah, and like, again, it's back to the team. It's back to it's who's around you, like who's the closest people around you, whether that be your husband or wife, whether that be your friends, whether that be your team, whether that be your coach. It's I mean, my husband got really ill a few years back, and that was a bit of a pivotal moment because we didn't know. You know, you're working for this and you're thinking, well, I want to grow a business. I want money. And you make plans for the future. And it got to, you know, there was a stage where it was like, but what if you're not here next year? Like, what does that mean? You know, there's money don't really mean anything then. You know, the house don't really mean anything. The plans don't really mean anything if you're not there. So that was. It's like John knew. Tough. It's like who? Like John knew. It's like he knew it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll say congratulations, because I think what you have done is absolutely outstanding. And I am really excited to get you back here when you do inevitably come back. No, we'll always come back. Look, this is where my family's from, so we'll always. But honestly, like, being out there, there's just been
yeah, it's unbelievable. Like honestly, the things that we've seen and the experiences, like I said, some remote and for the kids as well. It's
Priceless.
yeah. I mean, we were on an island a couple of months back, and we'd gone for a hike up this mountain, and we'd seen another island, and it was small, and it looked like it had a really nice white beach on it. So like, how do we get there? So for 2 weeks, we're searching around the island, trying to find fruit jungles, everywhere, trying to find this island. We couldn't find it. Anyway, eventually we'd stumbled across it. So we'd sort of navigate for, right, I'm going to walk around. So we're rock climbing. It looked pretty dangerous, like swimming, trying to get to the other side of the island. And then we'd gone through this jungle and it come to this opening. And honestly, that's where I thought I'd seen paradise. It was just a white beach. And then there were an opening and this island was right in front of us. So we've gone there, we sat there, and it was just like, wow, just in amazement, it really was. It felt like, what was interesting is like before we went, there's, you're watching news on Gaza and Palestine, and we were there, and I remember in that moment, I just thought, imagine heaven and hell is here. We talk about afterlife and it's heaven and hell, and it's like, that's happening on the same planet. And I just thought, what if it's here? What if this is heaven and hell? That's what we make. So that got a little bit deep anyway. Back to the island.
No, I like that.
So we sat there and it's like, how do we get across? There's no boats, no nothing. So we've gone back to the room. And we've Googled low tide, like 7 in the morning. So we woke up next day with kids, gone back. It weren't as far as we thought because obviously we'd searched all around. So we navigated our way. We knew where we were going. And so we waited for low tide. And then when we just went across and we swam across this island that there was this cave and the white beaches, and it was just honestly just pristine. I don't know how many people have stepped on.
Did you have to wait for low tide again to get back?
No, we had to wait for low tide to come back. Yeah.
What? It's like a 24-hour thing.
A waterproof bag with some Pringles and stuff. Do you know what I mean? So had some sex over
How
there.
did you sleep out there?
No, we didn't.
Oh,
we just went for the day. Yeah, same day.
Oh, that's nice.
Same day, but it was just So it's incredible, really incredible. So to think, that.
I love it out there. So it's different kettle of fish. I remember
it's a different life.
Sunset coming and thinking, my God, how do people leave?
Well, this is it. This is why we didn't want to leave.
You sit there and you're like, it just puts you into a different world.
It's like a different life, but then you come back and it's like you come back and it's just a different. It is. It's that different.
It hits you like a wall, doesn't it? I do remember, and I was going through, a hellish time back then. I was building a school at the time, and I had one of the school one of the executives, the governors. He was putting pressure on me, saying, "You better get painters on site." And I'm in Thailand here, and I'm emailing going,
I'm on beat, mate. See you tomorrow.
You do realise, like, the plaster's dripping. Like, we don't want to be painting that. I mean, I will, but it's not advisable. And I remember him distinctly saying to me, if you do not put paint on that wall, I will remove you from that job. And I said, okay, so if you approve that if we do and it falls off, you're going to pay twice.
What's he say?
He did in the end, but I think the point is, if I was there, would have nipped it in the bud. Because I was so far away, it just treated me like an absolute fool. We put paint on and it did come off. And when I got back, he did apologise to me.
Yeah.
But look, it's besides the point. The point was, when I was out there, I was working unsociable hours because obviously it was like 10 p.m. and I started work.
Yeah, you have to,
It was a bit weird, but I remember just being out there and like, wow, this was so easy to deal with the problem. Back here, everything seemed to be hustle bustle.
It does. It seems it's so hectic, and everyone's so busy that you haven't got time for anything because you're just so busy. And honestly, it's relaxed.
Well, look, I'm excited to get you back on. In the meantime, obviously, I'm sure you're going to have an amazing life. You're still active, you're still doing a business, you've got a lot of touch points, which again is incredible. But yeah, I'm really excited to get you back, and we will get you back next year, and we can talk about
well, it's taking you a couple of years to get us here, aren't we? So
no, not half. But we've got you on, which is great, and all the best for this year, and I can't wait to see you again.
Thanks for having me on.